Have you ever asked someone to do something and they just didn't do it? It doesn't feel great to be ignored like that, does it? Well, what if Jesus asked you to do something? Well, what did he ask you to do as a disciple? Jesus said, go make disciples. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from Matthew 28, verse 19. We're going to read through verse 20 for some context. You can find these commands of Jesus and a daily Bible plan at bible.today.church. Matthew 28, 19. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you always to the end of the age. Now, before in verse 18, Jesus was telling the disciples that all authority had been given to him. And it was in that context that he said, therefore, go. So the first question is, what does go mean? And that sounds like a silly question. But based on how we often ignore these simple instructions, maybe it's not a silly question. You know, this wasn't some empty command. We have been given both the authority and the power to do exactly what Jesus said. Go make disciples. And after an exhaustive study of the original meaning and context, I've come to the amazing conclusion that go doesn't actually mean don't go. So why don't we actually obey this command? You know, somehow this seems to have become an optional part of following Jesus. So what is a disciple in the first place? Maybe we don't go because we've wimped out on what a disciple really is. You know, Jesus made disciples. And what did those disciples do? Well, they obeyed his commands. They literally were willing to give up everything, and they made disciple makers. And we see evidence of that in Acts 2 as the Lord added to the church daily, not once a week, every day. So why don't we see that? Well, Jesus didn't disciple the crowd. You know, thousands showed up for the miracles, for the free food, great stories, and because he was popular. But Jesus, he poured the truth of God's kingdom into a dozen ordinary men that would change the world. And he did life with them, and they learned to do what he did by example. So who are we doing life with? Who are the disciples we are making? I must admit, for too long, I counted the crowd as disciples, but I wasn't actively going daily to make disciple makers. And full disclosure, I'm still not doing it enough. But we have to come to the realization that a disciple is a disciple maker. We have to accept that and settle for nothing less. That's really the only metric that matters. Jesus never said, go plant churches, go build buildings, go form organizations, go change politics, go fix the world. Now, none of those things are bad, but are we doing what he actually said to do? Are we making disciple makers? Imagine that Jesus said, go make pepperoni pizza and gave us the recipe for that. What if we spent all of our time just analyzing the recipe and trying to make it easier to follow? What if we made chicken Alfredo pizza because it was more popular? Or what if we built pizza places where no one ever really made or ate pizza, but they just collected all the supplies for the recipe? You know, had Jesus said make pepperoni pizza, that's what we should be making. And it would be easy to see if we were actually doing it. In the same way, if we are not making disciples, how are we actually obeying what Jesus said? Maybe we're not following the recipe, because Jesus said, go make disciples of all the nations. And the proof is in the pizza. Where are the disciples making disciple makers? And we have no business spending all of our time trying to fix all the evil in the world if we aren't even obeying what Jesus said. Go make disciples. How can you put that into action today? Well, it starts with go. Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it does mean a lot when you like it, when you share it, when you comment. And if you would like to learn how to become a disciple maker, I'd love to connect with you. Just send me a message. Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it means a lot when you like it, when you share it, when you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.